welcome to Drinker's Corner. I'm Noelle.
And I'm Elliot. Today we are at my house after we have been at the Beer Temple.
The Beer Temple.
Located at the intersection of Belmont, Elston, and California. And we were doing some day drinking, not going to lie.
Yeah,
and we were also picking up from their fine selection of beers, which we will be sampling today. We'll start with the Blackberry Farm Brown, or Brune.
The Brune.
Brune. And we will move on from there. But we will definitely be back to the Beer Temple to do a dedicated episode for them because they are really nice people. And it's a wonderful place. It's probably one of the most, in terms of tap rooms in the city, there's stuff that's there that you will not get anywhere else.
You will not absolutely get it anywhere else. And their bottle room is fantastic. Mm-hmm. This is where we've picked up this beer, along with a bunch of others. And you can see in the little picture here that we've got, they just have a tremendous amount of beer available. So check it out if you're in Chicago.
Absolutely. We're doing a little beer tasting.
Yes.
We're starting the day with the Blackberry Farms Brune. A very, very good example of Belgian-style beer made here in the U.S. You would call this a brown, a double, any of those things apply. What I think makes Belgians so popular here is, first of all, they travel very well, so they only get better with age because they usually have a little bit of bottle condition or re-fermentation in the bottle. And then also the hallmark of a lot of the Belgian beers is they are sweet.
They are. And
sugary. So Americans love them some sugar.
They do. It is not my favorite style of beer, but I do like the nose on this. It's got a nice little fruitiness.
It does.
You know, and it's tasty.
Yeah, it's just a great, I mean, the double's kind of in the middle. It's a little bit maltier than, the triples, which tend to be sweeter.
Right.
It's not anything great. It's just a refreshing beer.
It is a refreshing beer. I tend to not like the triples because they are almost too sweet. I like a little bit of bitterness and hoppiness in my beer. So this is actually really nicely balanced because it doesn't have that overwhelmingly sweetness.
And that's kind of the mark of any good Belgian beer is, again, just the balance of it. If it gets too crazy, it gets to be undrinkable. It gets to be cloying.
Yeah.
Not
and you can
so
drink
good.
one and then you're all like sugar high and crazy,
But this is very good. It's very nice. Like the, it's kind of got the all the hallmarks of like sort of this bready, almost caramely.
It does have. It definitely has that malty like flavor, and it does taste caramely. It does. It's very.
But then it's also got sort of all the other stuff that you associate with Belgian. So the sort of estery, the fruity, and the taste, but on the nose. But very good beer. Very good beer.
Very good beer. Highly agree with that.
And Blackberry Farm is out of Tennessee.
Let's show that label again.
So
people that. Here, I'll hold it and you can talk.
So, out of Tennessee, if you ever see this, buy it because it is superb. The other thing is they do a lot of Saisons. Saison, one of my favorite styles.
Oh, yes. We need to talk about Saison. What is a Saison, Elliot?
So, Saisons are sort of what I kind of consider them to be the wild cards of beer. Right. There is sort of, certain aspects that a Saison should hit, which is, it's going to be a yeast-forward, sort of mid to low alcohol level beer. Besides that, the sky's the limit. Because what we'll talk about, we're doing a Belgian beer now, the Belgians kind of do not care what you put in beer, as opposed to anything else. Like, if
whatever,
like
it'll all work.
Spices, fruits, throw it in there.
It's
good. And usually, it's typically what Saisons used to be made during the summer when it was very hot, and when places like Germany were not brewing beer, Belgians were just like, we don't care. So
I think the lesson here is that Belgians don't care.
Belgians do not care.
They'll always drink.
They will do whatever they want
to
as
get
far
their
as
beer.
as far as beer goes. But typically they used to brew saisons in the summer when it was hotter, so that did certain things to the yeast. Like it brought out some sour notes, it brought out some funky notes. Like generally most people say saison, it's like kind of like a blonde beer that's a little funky.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
And then aside from that, anytime I go and see a new saison, I'm kind of like, I want to try it just to see what else is going on.
So here's a good question, because I've seen a lot of these beers. They've taken the saison and they've kind of made the session ale, which again, it's a lower alcohol where you can drink it all day. Mm-hmm. But is there a difference between a saison and a session ale?
Session ale is just kind of become a catch-all more for a lower alcohol style beer that's brewed to be a little bit lower. So you can have a session IPA, you can have a session pale ale, a session, and anytime you see session, it's just kind of an indication that it's probably going to be somewhere under about 6%.
Right.
ABV.
Mostly I've seen in like 4.5% to 5%. Because you can just drink that all day long and not be crazy.
And with saison, the difference is you're looking for that hallmark funkiness.
Right. It is a different flavor. I agree.
And they're not necessarily married to that lower alcohol. They tend to be I've seen anywhere from about 4 to 7 or 8 and even higher up.
Really? For a saison?
For a saison.
For a 7?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So a lot of people will do like double saisons now, which is kind of crazy. But again, like Blackberry Farms, what we're drinking right now, has a saison from them is good because, as far as I'm concerned, they're the best brewer of Belgian beers in the U.S. I mean, there's not anyone else I can really think of that does that style quite as well.
All right. Well, it is really delicious. Maybe we should have another little swig.
We should have another swig.
So we can cheers before we go on to the next one. Because there's always another beer.
So don't give me any shit for the glassware because we're just sampling.
We're sampling. It's cool. Delicious.
Delicious.